Welcome to another episode. So, I know I said the next one would be tearing apart the car to figure out what's wrong, but it's Memorial Day. Tim's out camping with his family, having a good time. I'm here. Well, most of the weekend's been spent with the family. Wife had to work today, but what are you gonna do? So, I had also said that I was working on some other things for like filler content, other things we can do when we're not working on the car, so let's get into that today. So, I mean, if you're here, you know the car. Everybody's seen the car. So we also have seen the truck before. This is a 2017 Silverado Z71. Awesome tow rig. Love this thing. This is great. And we also have a couple of toys. Not the G. The G belongs to my kid. We might get some content on that at some point, but talking about these guys. This is a Doodlebug, 79cc, 3 horsepower, still stock engine. And this is a Amazon Tao, I think they're called, Chinese ATV. This is not stock engine. So this has been Predator swapped for a Predator 212 from Harbor Freight with their quote-unquote Stage 2 kit. So you can see the air filter. It's also got a jetted carb. It's got an 8-degree timing advance. Come around the back. It's got a header pipe with a muffler on it, and it's belt driven like a snowmobile. So this is actually the faster of the toys we have. These are rated to top speed like 30 mile an hour ish, but boy, it struggles to get there with an adult human. So we got a not quite adult human to help us show these off today. But wait, there's more. We have one other toy here that also belongs to Mr. Tayson that I've helped him build and maintain, and we're gonna ride that today too because he hasn't had it out this year and it needs a little love. So that's this hot rod. So this is the Coleman version of the Doodlebugs, basically the same mini bike, but this one also has a Predator 212 on it with a Stage 1 kit. It's basically the same setup as the four-wheeler, but it doesn't have the timing advance. So we're going to get this out. We're going to ride the three of them around a little bit. And then we're going to show just how much faster the Predator is than the stock motor. Okay, so I had originally got this bike to be my pit bike when we go to drift events, and it does a very good job of that. This is actually the stock motor off that bike, because the one that was on this was pretty thrashed. I put a new carb on it and it was okay, but yeah, this one was brand new and it was just sitting here, we weren't using it. So to give Zoe something to ride, we put this together. I've also got a little bit of party light action. You won't be able to see them great because, you know, it's daylight out, but there are party lights on this. Did you know that's how we roll? But this thing runs so good. So give it a little choke. 2 pulls, starts up, idles, beautiful. Okay, this does not start so easy. This one's a little bit more cold-blooded. Case in point. Go. Okay, the other bike Zoe doesn't ride. It's sketchy. Alright, that's a basic lap around the front yard. Now we're going to show the difference between the stock 3 horsepower engine and that Predator, which is probably closer to 8. There's a little bit of a difference there. That bike is scary. Alright, so that's the trio. And then there's one more. I got a jet ski. So I bought this blown up. I have a new motor for it. So it's basically just an empty hull at this point. Parts laying everywhere. I have the engine for it here. Let me get the old one pulled out and show you what's wrong with it. Alright, first thing you notice, this is the head on the bad side. There's just junk. So I'm going to check the piston, same thing, there's pieces missing, and then if you rotate, you can hear it clacking, and then there's a lot of play in there. So rather than mess with this, I picked up this guy. So this is going to go in. This one has good compression on both cylinders. The only real issue so far is when they pulled it, they did this. So I have all the electronics for it. Why they didn't just keep them together, I don't know. They decided this was a better option. So I'm going to see if I can get the flywheel off that without a puller. I don't know how hard that's going to be. Because this already has all good electronics in it. It's got new coils, brand new carburetor. Like this was good to go before that motor let go. The only bad part still in here was the motor mounts are pretty spent. Only 2 of them were actually good. So I have new motor mounts, so she can go right back in. And I think I have everything but a battery at this point to make it run again. So that's the plan. I'm gonna figure out whether to just try to splice those wires back together or to pull it and use the existing electronics, which I think is going to be the better idea. So I'm going to start with the old motor, try to get the flywheel off, see if I can do it with tools I have. If not, I might end up waiting till Tim's back around so I can use the flywheel puller, and then that should go back together pretty quick. There's a lot of hoses in there. So luckily I found some diagrams on where they all go, so we can make sure they're all routed right and they're all in good shape, but won't know until we get to work, right? A discovery has been made, which kind of makes them cutting the wire an even bigger dick move, if that's possible. Once you get the side cover off this is the wire they cut on the new motor. There's plugs right here. This would not have been hard to just unplug, so I guess that makes that easier. So we're just gonna swap over so we can use the existing electronics that are already in there, because I know those were good. This was a running four-wheeler, even though this motor must have been making a ton of noise, but it's okay. We're gonna get stuff swapped over to the new motor and try to get her down in there. Okay, the engine is set in there, bolted in, new mounts. So now I set the carburetor back in it and start figuring out all the hoses. There's a lot of them in here. Okay, quick update. Carburetor's back in, exhaust is in, all the wires are connected except for the 2 for the battery and the 2 spark plugs. I have to get a battery, so that's why those aren't hooked up, and I want to test spark before I tighten the spark plugs down in here. So I'm just working on reconnecting all the hoses now, and this is going a lot quicker than I thought it would. Okay, this is going to be a stopping point for today. Yeah, it's pretty well together. I'm missing a couple of hose clamps for cooling inlet and the outlet. These two have to be put together. I have a whole box of hose clamps, but I'm pretty sure they're in my drift car up at Tim's. So those aren't doing us any good. So a couple of hose clamps and a battery, and we'll be ready to try to fire this thing up.